Hi everyone, this is Kelly Giese. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up. I'm a hobby demonstrator, though if you would like to be my customer, I can certainly help you out with that. Today we are going to be making a card with gorgeously made stamp set and using the beautiful designer series paper that goes with that. This stamp set comes with a set of dies. So these are the beautiful stamps. And here are the dies that go with it. We're going to use this die and this die in this particular card. And let's get started. Now, if you're part of my class, you'll know that you will get an envelope. And this is the card we're making here. It looks complicated. It's sort of a fun fold, but it's really an easy card and a lot of fun to make. So, and then we stamped our envelope with the stamp that is just the writing, and we did so also on the back. So here's what is going to be in your envelope. You're going to have your envelope, of course, and mine has a K on the back of it. That's just so I know it's my sample one. So let me go and erase that, because nobody needs an envelope with a K on it. And what you should have is you should have your base, a base for your card. You should have your sentiment that is cut out. You should have a piece of ribbon, a thin slice of designer series paper, some gems. Hopefully I've got all of this in where you can see it. A die cut piece of paper, a designer series cut of paper that has been scored, and hopefully you can see the score line. It's at the 1/2 inch mark, and a matte layer that is embossed with the leaves, the natural leaves. I believe that's what it's called. Let me just grab it real quick and find out, because it always helps to have everything out when you start the video so you're not searching. It is called Fern. It is this particular emboss folder that I use. It's a 3D embossing folder. And then you should have something to mat and layer with. So we're going to start by doing our inside first, because that's the easiest part. So we'll get that started. We are going to take this strip of designer series paper. You can put it at 1/4 inch out, or you can put it in, you can put it across the top and cut off the sides, however you would like to do that. I'm going to put it along the side, and I am going to use my green glue, or otherwise known as the Tombow glue, just so I could get it in line where I want it to be. You don't need a whole lot of it, you just need a little bit. This is very tacky glue and very forgiving. So I'm going to go approximately 1/4 inch in. I'm using my grid paper that's underneath here to sort of line it up, and it looks pretty straight to me. And if for some reason you have a little itty bitty smidge on the other side, just come from the back side and straighten that up for yourself. Okay, so I've got that. And I'm going to put my glue back together. I'm going to adhere this to the inside using my seal. I'm going to go across the top, and I kind of do a Z. So I go across the top, across the bottom, and then one diagonal. And then I'm just going to place this on the inside. Now this white piece of paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this card is 4 1/4 this way, and when closed 5 1/2 this way. If you're cutting the paper, your background paper or your cardstock is going to be 11 inches this way by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so that's that. It's not very hard to do that part. We'll just set that aside. So now we're going to work on how we want this to look on our mat. This is a mat layer that goes on the front of here, and you can do one of two things. You can adhere this down first, or you can build it up. I like to adhere this first because and build on the card, because once I get everything on here, it's a little bit harder to put this, you know, to get the adhesive on the back unless you're using glue. Now you certainly can use glue. There's no right or wrong way to put on your embossed item. This happens, emboss means that things are sticking up. Deboss is when it sticks down. So we're doing the emboss side up. And now I'm going to take this piece of paper and I am going to adhere it in here, approximately 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch from the side. So this is pretty simple. I'm going to use some glue for this one. And it's just, this is so if I don't have it where I want it to go, I have an opportunity to smudge it around a little bit. The glue's a little bit more forgiving than tape. And I learned to glue before I learned to tape. Took me forever to learn how to use a tape runner because I was a glue girl for many, many years before I was doing anything different. So this is where our card is now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this Designer Series piece of paper and we are going to fold it on the fold line, carefully fold it. I'm going to finger press it. And I'm finger pressing it because it's Designer Series paper. And I could use my bone folder, but I want to go gently on that. And then I'm going to adhere that down with a little bit of glue. And I'm just putting a light little strip in there, nothing big. And I'm just going to hold that down. This is when I take my bone folder and I go over it very lightly, but it smooths out the glue that's underneath. It also helps you just to make sure you have a smooth seal. Okay. And if you have too much glue, it will run out the bottom or the sides. That's okay. We'll let that go. Now we're going to adhere this onto here. Again, I'm going to use some glue. And the reason I'm using the glue is just so I can move it around again. Sometimes, even if you do the best that you can to make sure that your paper is in the right place, sometimes you just have to move it slightly. So I'm going to go again just a little bit farther than I did before. Or maybe I'll bring it in a little bit closer. Closer looks better. Oops. And again, like I said, you can see it move around on me. That's okay. It just means I can get it to where I want. Okay. So that is the outside of our card. So far, this has not been a very hard card, and that's what I like about it. It's fairly simple, and it looks very impressive without being hard work. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm just going to do like a 1/2 hitch knot on it. And I just want it to be able to have some tails down, and I want it pretty flat. We're not going to do anything with that now. And I'm going to pull out some the stamp set, and I'm going to do some stamping. I'm going to put this aside for a second. These happen to be cling stamps, so I don't need to bring in anything to stamp on top of. I'm going to put my thank you on here, and I am also going to put my words. Okay, so what we're going to stamp is we're going to stamp our envelope, and we're going to stamp our little sentiment here. Whichever way you think it looks best. This is a die cut. Normally you would stamp and then you run it through the die cut machine to make sure it's centered. I am going to try to do that while filming on a little piece of paper. I am using the new Berry Bliss. I think that's what it's called. Berry Burst. I should get it right. I'm mixing up colors. Berry Burst. And I'm going to try to center this as best I can at an angle. And I hope that's centered. If not, that's pretty good. I've got a little bit of a line there, but I'm going to let it go. And then I'm going to do my envelope. So my envelope, I am going to stamp the back side of it. and making sure that my words are the correct way up. And then, so I don't mess up my background too much, I'm going to give myself something to stamp off on and put a little bit on the front. So I've got a little bit on the front, a bunch on the back. Our envelope is finished. I will close this, and now we'll finish the last little bits of the card. We're going to use some dimensionals, and we're going to use a glue dot. Let me get a glue dot. And let me get a stylus. And I'm going to take this glue dot and I'm going to put it on the back of my ribbon, and I'm going to put my ribbon about where I want my sentiment to be, which is right here. Okay, and now I'm going to take my dimensionals. Let me put that off to the side. I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. And I'm actually going to cover up that knot so it looks like I've got, you know, this coming out from underneath. I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit more. There we go. I'm also going to trim my ends right now while I don't have the other part on there. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to take this off and adhere my sentiment. It's a simple, well, I adhered it onto my finger, so let's see if I can get it off of my finger. Thank you. Likes to go on my fingernails. I do not know why. And I'm just going to place this over on top like that. I think that's pretty straight. And then we're going to put our embellishments on. You should have 3 embellishments. You can use them any way you want. I felt that the peacock one looked really nice on here, so I'll put it back on here again. And then I have a pink one. Boy, these are gooey today. I'm going to put the pink one. I'll put the pink one more right there this time. And then there's a white one, and it looks like it's white, but it'll actually pick up the color of the that it's on. It's an iridescent color, but it tends to pick up exactly what it's on. I always come in and just push them down a little bit again. Like I said, these were really sticky, and I don't know why they did that this time, but okay. So this is our first card for this series. Again, this is the card we just made. This is the card that is the sample. Not much difference. They're pretty much, I'm pretty much identical, actually. That's pretty good of me. And again, this was using the Gorgeously Made stamp set along with the Gorgeously Made dies and the fern embossing folder. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.